In my book, Irrational Exuberance, I emphasize the news media as an important part of speculative bubbles that drives them. The news media amplify certain social epidemics, not maliciously, but they're a business and they have to attract attention. So they tend to focus more attention on ideas that are already in the public attention. What he said is that what you remember at any point of time depends on what you've heard other people saying. You know, your mind forgets. Unless memories are reinforced, they just go away and you don't remember them. So you remember a set of facts that you've heard repeated many times. And when you try to evaluate things like the housing market, you are going to come to the same conclusions as everybody else because you don't remember some important facts. And you don't remember them because nobody's talking about them. I could tell you about the housing bubble in 1943 to 53 and use that as an example, but I bet hardly anyone here knows anything about it. If you could go back in a time machine, you could stop anyone on the street and they'd tell you about that bubble. But we forget, and so we repeat mistakes from the past. Irving Janis was a social psychologist who in 1971 wrote a book called Groupthink. And it's about how expert groups make terrible mistakes. And they do so partly for these kinds of reasons, but partly because of people's social tendencies. The tendency to self-censor, to not want to express opinions that deviate from the group opinion, and so on. Selective attention was talked about by William James in his 1890 Principles of Psychology. He said that people pay attention to certain things. There are structures in our mind that help define what we pay attention to. One thing is that there's a social basis for attention. We tend to pay attention to the same things as everyone else. So we get reinforced in certain fallacious beliefs at one time or not another because you just naturally look at what other people are looking at. The equity premium puzzle, which Prescott and Mehra pointed out, is an example of I think, kind of a selective attention phenomenon. In my book, Irrational Exuberance, I emphasize the news media as an important part of speculative bubbles that drives them. The news media amplify certain social epidemics, not maliciously, but they're a business and they have to attract attention. So they tend to focus more attention on ideas that are already in the public attention.